Welcome to Beerfield. I am your host at Beerfield Hops with two P's. As always, joined by at Ryan Miner _ FFB at Beerfield Thury. Ryan Miner, Dan Thury. Welcome back after a week off. Do you all have a good Thanksgiving? Are you 20 pounds heavier? Dan, you were in Minnesota making awesome trades.
Oh man, Deshaun, I fucking died laughing. I'm on his couch, and he sends that trade to me. I just look over to him. I'm like, "This is amazing. We're gonna do it.
What a time to be alive."
I feel like I had the perfect response to that, which was you two
Dan
are
must be with Shotty.
You two are hanging out, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. It was perfect.
Was the $1 a fab for
Zach Wilson? Because who fucking cares? And touchdown Seahawks. $1. He's not even. He's probably not even worth $1.
No,
he's barely worth half. He's probably worth less than.
I'm sure somebody. Thinks
but $1 is $1.
I'm sure somebody thinks he's worth $1 somewhere.
Well, the moms probably think so.
Someone somewhere.
That's probably true. $1. He's not even.
Hey,
probably not even worth.
Hey, I don't like hearing ourselves come back through the microphone. Like, this is a professional quality show. I'm gonna need you to show some professional quality courtesy. Okay?
Don't talk to me like I'm your fucking child, please. Child, please.
Child, please.
Child, please.
Sometimes I feel like I'm surrounded by children. We're gonna get through the news and do some head coaching predictions and talk bye-pocalypse a bit and etiquette at this stage of redraft. So we got a little bit of a semi-planned show, actually. So that's weird for us. But first, beer or whiskey or wine or seltzer or
the
water,
wine,
or
the
non-alcoholic
beer, the whiskey,
whatever it is. We don't discriminate.
Nope.
What's fueling Beerfield?
All right, Dan. You
So
called on just because you were actively drinking when the drop hit.
That's fine. No. So, as Hopper alluded to, I was back in the northern land for the holidays in Minnesota. So naturally, when I do my travels, I like to bring beer back, or at least have beer on the show. From where I just was. So we stayed downtown Minneapolis for our final night. I know with my dad and stepmom and some friends. And before then, we stopped by a place called Lakes and Legends. That's where this beer comes from. This is Lakes and Legends Brewery. This is a Czech Pilsner called Vibe Check, as spelled with Czech.
See what they did there.
Yeah, right. It was actually a really cool spot. They had a marketplace going on. So there's a bunch of different vendors there and stuff like that. So we help support local for people around there, and try to talk to one of the main brew guys, but they were fucking swamped, so I didn't get that much of a chance to. But I had this beer there, was a big fan of it, wanted to bring this back, and I'll give my quick thoughts about it later on in the show.
All right, Ryan.
All right now.
What IPA?
All right now.
Oh, so
I can't wait for one day he goes, I have a lager, actually.
That'll blow my mind.
Okay, I'm gonna be prepared then, and I'm not gonna do it next week. But well,
right? It's gonna be. It's gonna be
longer. From...
like that final episode.
It won't be next week, gonna show up. But it'll be sometime, and he's just gonna throw me off, and it's gonna be like an IPL instead.
Oh my god, that's right. It's gonna be.
That's a good idea.
Still gonna be something.
It's gonna be a Kolsch.
It's gonna be a lager, but it's still gonna be hopped to shit.
So as
I hop Kolsch.
So as I celebrated my college football season ending with the Michigan Wolverines beating the Ohio State Buckeyes, thank fucking God for the third year in a row, I am enjoying a short Hoopa Loopalicious Imperial India Pale Ale.
Good old shorts.
Good old IPAs.
Yes. But
it's Imperial.
Yes.
I bet it has
an IPA. I square PA.
I bet it's bitter with tropical notes of grapefruit and maybe a bit of an alcohol backbone to it. How erotic.
And there's my beer review. You're welcome.
How erotic.
Welcome to my world from
Yep.
6 years ago.
How
I had
far are we
nothing
in
more
the-
to say.
How far are we in the episode?
Right now?
It's a joke.
Or
No, I'm being honest, because when it says
Oh.
beer review, I'd be like, just go back to 6 minutes and 13 seconds.
5 minutes and 42 seconds
Oh, so close.
on YouTube.
You were really close.
Auto,
God
the
damn.
audio recording might be a little skewed from that, but you get it.
I just guessed too.
Go back to 5 minutes and 30 seconds and you'll catch it.
Yeah,
Be
there's
safe.
my review. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Right, I got Victory Brewing's Merry Monkey, so actually something you can get places that aren't just around here. Victory Brewing out of Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Merry Monkey is their golden monkey, so their Belgian Tripel with cranberry, orange peel, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So you see a lot of winter beers coming out right now, which are generally just spiced to hell versions of other beers. And,
Yep.
There's usually going to be higher ABV. They're designed to warm you up. So here we are. This is a 10%. So 4 reviews about halfway through the episode.
News.
All right, Carolina, we'll start there. Frank Reich fired from the Carolina Panthers. Owner David Tepper. Lots come out about his overstepping. I guess this is like, since he's taken over, they're going to be on their 6th head coach. So there's no consistency within the organization. He's been painted as impatient and came out and said, well, I'm actually very, very patient, but I need to see results. But he doesn't, I guess, understand that it takes a bit for there to be like cohesion and progress, especially with a team that by all intents and purposes should be in a rebuild. He apparently tried to step into play calling at one point as well. And handed him like a piece of paper. It's like, hey, the Browns ran this week. We want to run it without anything at all. Just, hey, we're gonna run this play. Trying to step into that. And they fired Josh McCown, which should be, that's just icing on top. This is like the worst.
I think they also fired the running backs coach too. Did they fire? Was it Deuce Staley?
They
fired Deuce Staley too.
also. Yep. So
They're gonna.
If only they had like a true wide receiver one, like a, I don't know, DJ Moore, probably would be really helpful
Probably
there to
would've
help
helped.
out. Why would you don't trade your top receiver away for a quarterback to give him nothing to throw to?
Would it have helped?
It would have been better.
So I actually was.
It would have been better.
I actually took a look at Bryce Young earlier, and maybe I think is what it comes down to. So the interception rate isn't bad. The touchdown rate is what's horrible. So if that they're not scoring, yeah, there's a play calling component to that when you're only averaging 5 yards per attempt or so. But yeah, I think DJ Moore does help that. Have you seen what he does after the catch with Chicago in particular and carrying defenders and adding yards on plays? I think it would have a bit.
I
wouldn't solve
I think it would have
everything,
made
but I think it would have made a bit of a difference.
I think it would have, took them from being one of the worst offenses in basketball to slightly better football to slightly better. Because not like they were lighting up the world before they traded them. And I don't think Bryce Young's playing well above and beyond what they had prior to them coming in there. Well, there's play calling, sure. It might be. He's also only played 12 games. Like, he has a lot more time to still learn. He still has to play through this year. And the Panthers have now shown to us that they're in a fucking shit show situation. And Bryce may never get fixed.
Yeah.
Not that he needs to be fixed. It's just that this is bad. Like, they're already cleaning house and it's still mid-season.
Yeah, and I'm looking through his efficiency numbers and accuracy numbers and everything. And I mean, he's
game manager right now.
He's what you'd expect. He's a rookie quarterback that didn't get lit out of a cannon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like not super terrible at anything that matters, right? Rating versus zone, I guess, is a little bad, but he's not super terrible at anything that matters, and he's not in the top half of the league in anything either. He's not in the bottom third in anything, though. He's like not in the bottom quarter. He's like in this weird, like, I'm going to say in the 33rd percentile of everything and just be good. Which,
It's like
rookie quarterback without things around
Yeah.
him, okay, I get it.
it's like if they can get some of these build around pieces, maybe get a play caller or an offensive minded head coach that could be a little more creative. He's one of those quarterbacks, right? Like he's not going to elevate an offense, but he's not going to, like he can thrive. Like he's
I have a question.
the Goff and the Cousins of the worlds.
Have 60 quarterbacks taken enough snaps to have receiver target separation ratings? Because he's 60th in his receiver target separation.
I mean, that's got to be.
And they're 2
He's
points.
got an
all
old
the
man
Jets
Thielen
quarterbacks.
running routes. He's got Terrace Marshall and
they're-
DJ Chark, who's
they're-
like half hurt.
2.82 yak after doesn't even register. And the running game's been a shit show the whole time. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you can hate on Bryce Young, but
Oh yeah.
it's an entire fucking offensive problem. It ain't just Bryce Young is not
Yeah.
the problem here. Right
No,
now.
not at all.
No, I mean he's yes.
You have
And, like,
nothing around him.
It
You have
also
nothing
doesn't
helping him.
help that Stroud has gone on to this historic start, and he's now tethered to not just that, but he's also tethered to this massive trade made with Chicago that he had no choice of. Like he's stuck in this kind of rough spot where he has Stroud who's balling out, and then he had Richardson, before he got hurt, also being fairly successful. It's
Richardson
we'll see how he responds.
had the athleticism to do that. And Stroud, it was just a matter
Absolutely.
of they were close, and Stroud maybe landed better, but also this whole just because CJ Stroud has been really, really good, especially over the back part of the season.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily an indictment on Bryce Young. He didn't choose
No,
to
no,
be drafted over CJ Stroud.
You are absolutely
That's an
right.
indictment on the Panthers. We're not doing their I don't even say not doing their homework. A lot of us were close on the two. And
Everybody
that
had
is
him in
what
the
it
same
is.
tier.
Yeah.
You can have them in different. Everyone had them in the same tier.
So
And like, there's
Yeah.
not one person that was like, "Oh man, I had Stroud so much." No, you didn't.
Well,
Maybe
I
for
had
Stroud was
fantasy.
behind Will Levis.
Maybe for fantasy, yeah. No one had him.
it's
No one had him that low.
there's a reason we do 3-year rolling on our dynasty stuff. And it's because plenty of quarterbacks suck in year one and go on to have long, productive, and decent careers. Peyton Manning,
He,
for example. But
yeah,
most extreme
he's the
example,
true
of
unicorn.
course,
Yeah,
but
he's the true unicorn.
there are plenty of others that have ones. It's not like the interception rate's not bad. The completion percentage isn't bad. There's things there that are like, okay, this is average, and there's just an offensive issue, is what I see.
There's a whole lot of it's not him. It's the sum of all the parts that are just it's all being compounded. It's just it just looks really bad because the Panthers
It's also-
look fucking terrible.
And they've looked terrible since 2019 with their coaching carousel now. Just going coach
God,
after coach after
Jesus
coach. It's like there's
Christ.
no consistency there.
And that's a real problem because somebody with a track record of Frank Reich should have gotten more than a year with a rookie quarterback and no
He didn't even get a year.
infrastructure
No, he
around him
didn't
or
get a year
anything
at all.
like that. That's, I mean,
He got
that-
12 games.
we want to see improvement. Okay, well, you can only
7
do
games.
so much with personnel, right? And it takes time to build in that personnel on a team that you are rebuilding. Now, has the defense taken steps back? Yeah. Fire your DC. You gotta, especially with young quarterbacks and young offensive players, you have to have some consistency in the building, and they have had none. And you're not just going to fix it by continually firing and bringing in new head coaches without giving anybody a chance to have a little cohesion and build something and show progress. Like, Tepper needs a reality check.
Tepper just needs to sell the team.
Yeah.
Just move
He
on.
just- he needs
It's
bottom.
like, dude, Well, he's
which is even worse because he's gonna be there for a minute.
Yeah.
yeah, he's like their version. He's like East Coast version Jerry Jones right now,
He needs
trying to run the whole team. Just sit back and let his coaches do their jobs.
That's
But-
why you hire your
So you
GM.
hire a GM and a football operations guy and let them run it.
Yeah, like he should be sitting back, fucking hanging out in the owner's box, just getting
Yeah.
fucking buck wild stupid.
Doesn't
And let
mean you
the
don't get into
guys that
it,
you hire
but-
to do the. I mean, he should, sure,
Yeah.
but
But let the football guys make football decisions. Damn sure
Yep.
don't be trying to tell people what plays to run because you saw Cleveland.
run this play because another horrible organization ran it.
Yeah, don't scribble down on a post-it note either
And
and
it
say,
worked.
"Here, run this."
It's like the scene from Benchwarmers. I'm 13. Here, run this play.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck, dude? No, get the fuck out of here.
I can write Crayola any day of the week.
I saw my son run this play on Madden. I think it could
Yeah,
work. I don't
It
know
works-
what
it
it's
works-
called, but this happens and then that happens.
So
it works every time we play in rookie mode.
That's right. I turned the sliders down to nothing.
David, this is goal line formation from the 40.
No,
Why are you running the punt formation from the 2?
it's
We're trying to score. Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a fake,
fake.
guys.
We're not
That's
running.
how it works.
So I was gonna say we're not running a fake punt on second down.
the
Nobody's
kicker's gonna
nobody's
kicker's
gonna
gonna
fall
option
for
out.
that.
the kicker's gonna option out, and it's gonna go to the right tackle for a touchdown.
Yeah,
I've seen this happen. I know
No.
it'll work.
Yeah.
nobody's gonna
I've done- I've
fall
re-
for that.
I've ran in Madden like a million times. It's like 88% successful.
Yeah.
I heard he's gonna come in next week and be like, "Hey guys, you heard of this new thing called the Wildcat? I was watching film from 2014 and
I saw Ronnie Brown do it.
saw
It
Ronnie
was
Brown
great.
do it. It was great.
Oh man.
You know, the Eagles have
Sorry,
a
Panthers
92% success rate on the quarterback sneak. Maybe we should just run quarterback sneaks 10 times.
That's right. Have you guys
series.
seen this new podcast? It's called the New Heights Podcast. It's got the Kelsey.
Who?
They call their fan base 92%ers. We should run that play and tank
We
it.
should go, and then get a hoodie. So that way we know it works if we wear it.
I heard you coach well if you wear a hoodie.
I've heard with cutoff sleeves.
All right. We've beaten this dead horse.
Yeah,
It's
DTR's in concussion protocol. Speaking of dead horses, which could mean a Joe Flacco
Jesus
start this week against the Rams.
Wait, who's the dead horse in this? Is it DTR or is it Joe Flacco?
Flacco.
Oh, man.
It's wacko for Flacco time.
Hey, it could be good for Amari Cooper.
I don't
Might be
think so.
good for whoever the
I think
deep
Elijah
threat
Moore.
is.
More.
Yeah, then it'd be more of Elijah Moore.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe.
good luck. We'll see what happens there. It's the Rams, too. It's not like it's a bad defense. So if Flacco does start, I might actually move Cooper back into some.
There you go.
Jaden Reed not practicing with a chest issue. He could miss this week's game. Reed's been very, very solid wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 over the last couple weeks, shown some upside. Been a consistent presence for the Packers and for players in deeper leagues. So that's relevant. He's having a good rookie year. Travis Etienne not practicing Thursday. The Jags play on Monday though, so don't read too much into that. Trey McBride, Hollywood Brown, they're both missing practices right now. Zach Ertz has also been released by the Cardinals. So be interesting to see where Ertz lands, and because I'm assuming he ends up on a team that's making a playoff push, and maybe
The Eagles?
That's exactly
Dallas
what I thought.
Goedert?
With Goddard still being hurt, maybe he
Wow,
ends up back
this
in
feels
Philly.
too spot on.
I need Dallas Goedert back
mean-
like hardcore because I don't know if McBride.
We all need him back. Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
McBride not? God damn it.
McBride and Hollywood Brown are both not practicing right now.
Fuck.
Don't read too much into it though.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursdays have been kind of weird
That's fair.
this year, and
That's fair.
really Friday is the only practice you can trust. So just wait until Friday and see what happens. Typically, if guys have been limited on Friday, they've been playing on Sunday. So kind of a difference from last year, but Fridays are the important ones. Bailey Zappi is in line to start for the Patriots this week, taking all the first team reps. So we're back to that. They've also signed Will Greer from their practice school. So I guess if Zappi sucks, we're going to get to see some Will Greer.
Let's go.
Man, my 2019 heart just can't take it. We liked him so much.
We did. I like Zappy too, though. Zappy was
Yeah.
kind of like the Tyson Bagent for me of last year. So, I mean, it's not great, but for backups, it's fine. Good. He'll get some spot starts like this one.
He'll do a thing.
Shaq Leonard, released by the Colts. He had visits with the Cowboys and the Eagles this week. So keep an eye on for playoff pushes. We already talked Dallas Goedert. He's going to miss another game. Bengals to make an effort to get Chase Brown more involved. They had running plays in the game plan for him last week that they didn't get to because they didn't have the ball a whole lot. But rumor is that right now they want to get him a bit more involved. So there's a perspective at is the season winds down and running back help has been hard to find. Chase Brown's a rookie that I think we all liked. We all wondered if he was going to get into Mixon's workload, and the Bengals apparently want to see what they have there with a Mixon decision.
Smart. This is a loss. This is pretty much effectively a loss here for them. Might as well start to see what you got in some of your young bucks.
Yep. Especially a guy like Chase Brown who showed he could carry the load in college and everything that could be very, very usable for them, helping to manage the cap too. So, perspective ad and good news for Dynasty. If you drafted him, he's sitting on a couple practice squads for me, which is nice, or taxi squads.
Same here.
Ooh. What's up, the fantasy football addict? Welcome on.
What up? What up? What up?
Holy shit, we have a YouTube listener. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Time to
I
try
get
now, guys.
All right,
Time to
I
try.
get, I get the stuff out there.
Act like we've been here
Act like-
before. 'Cause
We had a
have,
listener.
We have been.
Let's
there was a
go.
time. All right.
Yeah,
Jets
yeah,
open.
It's not our moms.
Jets open Aaron Rodgers 21-day practice window. This is nuts.
Did you see that video?
No.
I mean, QB1 video, and he's ready. Put him in this weekend.
The fact that the Jets are still still in playoff contention.
Yeah.
That offensive
It
line
just shows
scares
how
me.
just much of a disappointment they is. Yeah, like
I don't want
Jets-
Aaron Rodgers to come back. It's like, just stay
Robert
off.
Solid is trying to save his career, not his career, sorry, his job. He's like, Rodgers, you got to get back right now. Rodgers about to risk it all for a mid fucking team.
Yeah, like here.
Oh my god, why? It's so dumb.
Let's show this video of you throwing a bomb off your fine legs, and they show him throwing a bomb. I'm like, oh, yep, there it goes. There's gonna be the hype now. The
He
hype
actually
video
just
starts.
wants to come back early so he can start to push his own medical shit. That's
He wants to come back early.
that's really what it is. He wants to start his
own herbs and stuff. He's
So-
like, I use common
look what
medical
happened
stuff.
to me. Look what happened to me. I'm fine, guys. I came back
I was
after
in
3 months.
I went in my room full of windows and had plenty of daylight on me. So I had vitamin D to help me heal.
There's
I'm in the
absolutely
sunroom.
no way he should be playing.
No,
Dead shots of wheatgrass.
no. But the sad part is he's better than anything they have on whatever hobbledness he may have.
Yeah, he
You know,
is.
after
We're
a
better
few
than
games.
anything they have.
At 4-7, it's such a long shot playoff lot anyway. Like, long shot playoff lot.
If they're smart, but the Jets have proven this year that they're not very smart. So
Yeah.
it's rolling with Zach Wilson for as long as they did when they still had
Tim Boyle.
a good defense. And yeah, I mean Tim Boyle's even worse. My God.
Yeah,
I
so-
thought Zach Wilson was the worst. Boy, watching Tim Boyle was like, yeah, put back in Zach Wilson.
You want to make people appreciate Zach Wilson, play somebody worse than Zach Wilson.
Just play Tim Boyle.
No, but I'm looking at the AFC right now, right? And so your division leaders, and then both the 3 wild cards now, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have your division leaders plus the Steelers and the Browns, and then
The Texans, maybe? Or is it Buffalo? Nope, they just lost.
Colts and
They're the 10th
Buffalo
seed, I
have the
think.
same record. I don't know
Is it
who
Houston,
has the
maybe?
tiebreaker. Well, no, Colts and Texans have the same record. I don't know who has the tiebreaker.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
Colts are
sorry.
listed ahead of them right now, so it would be either the Colts or the Broncos at the moment, depending on tiebreaker than the other one. So 6-5 is what gets you in right now. They're 2 games off the pace, which is hard to make up when you consider that NFC. You've got the Bills at 6-6. You've got the Colts and Texans both at 6-5. So I mean, you've got
So the Colts are the 7th seed right now,
Right.
just based off everything.
and they have the Bengals, the Raiders ahead of them, and the Chargers and the Titans at the same record. Like the only team in the AFC right now that's worse than 4-7 is the Patriots.
And they're going to be. They're not winning probably any more games this year. Maybe one more.
Yeah. So
They're going for that.
Maybe.
They're going for that May Williams sweepstakes.
long way of saying that their playoff hopes are essentially shot. Don't rush them back.
No. Hell no.
But they probably will.
Yeah, for I don't know what. Anyway, Trey Sermon's going to back up Zach Moss. Jonathan Taylor is going to miss some time due to a thumb injury. So Zach Moss
2 to 3
really
weeks.
Zach Moss was really good earlier in the season in pinch hit duty. Do that.
Our dude, he has RB1 upside this week, like especially this week. And
Oh yeah, he does.
Trey Sermon hasn't been good since the national championship game at Ohio State.
Trey Sermon isn't a threat.
He had
to
no
carries.
business being
He's-
that good too. Like that one game is what got him drafted that
He
high.
had 2 or 3 games that like brought him
He-
into it. It's like, dude, you fucking suck.
He was basically like Sony Michel with the dominant, end to his Georgia career, and then convinced the Patriots to take him in the first round.
Indeed.
Could you imagine if the Colts do like sneak into the playoffs? Because Fantasy Football just says that I think the Colts sneak into the playoffs. Minshew Mania would be like freaking off the
Be
hook.
huge. I don't think they'll do it, but I mean, Broncos been playing really well though.
Yeah.
Kind
Broncos have been
of.
lucky. They don't
Kind
throw
of.
the ball.
Yeah, they have turned their defense around. They went from they've gone from worst to first, literally.
All right, Vikings looking to make this struck me as a get the ball to Tucker type moment when I read this quote. Get the ball to Tucker. The Vikings are going to look to make a quarterback change come week 14 based on who can most reliably get the ball to Justin.
So Nick Mullins knows the offense better than Josh
I
Dobbs.
it sounds like from what I hear, it sounds like the coaching staff still isn't that sold on Jaron Hall.
Doesn't sound like they're sold on anything. It sounds like they're going to
Yeah.
evaluate it out of the bye between all three
It's-
quarterbacks and see who
It
they
is
want
so
to roll with.
yeah. It's because they're in the 7th seed. They're like, well, there's still hope. No, just play Hall. If it goes well, great. If it doesn't, then you set yourself up to have your quarterback of the future after, Cousins is gone. You'll probably bring him back for another year or two, and you see what happens. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's annoying because Mullins isn't the answer. Dobbs was a great story, but
You don't have an answer, right? So you're going to try to find an answer. And that's where the Vikings are. It's the same thing as the Jets. Mullins is the answer. Okay, great. Who is? Question mark.
Yeah.
The same thing that Jets
maybe the
fans are
rookie
doing
you
right
drafted.
now.
Who knows? Yeah,
So-
yeah.
You
Yeah.
got the rookie you drafted, but you didn't draft the rookie high. And sure, that can be a thing, but maybe it is the veteran who had some limited success in San Francisco. Who maybe it is Dobbs who came in and let a feel good story and was playing decent for Arizona. I mean, who is the best option out of that? Make an argument for all three, right?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? The Jaron Hall.
Just rotate him.
the,
Just rotate him in. Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
the
Do
only
the late 2000s like Gator thing with Chris Leak and Tim Tebow.
the only
He gets them
argument
down
for,
the field and then put the Russian quarterback in.
yeah, the only argument for Jaron Hall is that, and this might give him a little bit of an edge, is you see what you have there in case there's any concern about when Cousins is going to be ready. Going into the offseason what you need to do and what you can do. But you're right,
Yeah.
Dan. They're in playoff contention too. So until right now, it's about winning games, and I think that's going to put it more in a Nick Mullins or Josh Dobbs situation than Jaron Hall until they fall out of 7 spot, and I don't know that they will. Looking at the rest of what's there, the Packers or the Rams would be your biggest threat to knock them out of that in the NFC.
It
Saints,
just might end up
maybe?
being gross. Like, it just may end up being one of these teams who just kind of win some of these
Falls
more,
into it.
maybe some of these easier games down this,
Well-
down the line. The Wolves, or not Wolves, God, my God, I'm basketball mode. The Vikings have a roughish stretch, for their final 3 games, played the Lions twice and Green Bay in between. So, might be tough for them, but
That's
it's going to be who's ever going to catch the hot streak at the end is going to sneak into that
the last
final spot.
probably 2 teams to get in on this are going to be in the NFC.
Yeah.
Right now it's Seattle, Minnesota, Green Bay, and the Saints. Right now.
Oh God! If the NFC South just so happens to put 2 teams in, like, what the? That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I have no idea how that would work out. I honestly think you're gonna have 2 from the East, 2 from the West, and then one other division to get to 2, or there's
One. Yeah.
There's one more. You could have 3 from the
Yeah.
West.
You could have. Yeah, that's right. You could have a 2 from 3 divisions.
Yeah, you could have 2 from 3 divisions or 3 from 1 out of that, and money might be on the Rams, but I don't know. I have no idea who I like for the 5 and 6 seed out of the NFC. Nobody.
We got a good game going on right now. It's 2020 as Jackson Smith-Njigba just scored a touchdown. Right.
They're
before the
looking
half.
at they're looking at to see if the ball did any wobbling. But there's a penalty that's going to put him right on the goal line if it doesn't stand. So
Big game
Yeah,
so
pass
far from
interference.
DK.
and Gino,
DK.
I benched Gino. I'm like, oh, Dallas, I don't like it.
I started
And Gino
Gino.
just has not been playing. He's not been playing well. He's been pretty.
I went YOLO.
I mean, it's worked, especially if this touchdown 6, which it should.
Indeed.
I
All
don't
right.
know if there's a difference.
Feel good story. Hendon Hooker, window open for his return from NFI. So ACL
love
tear
this.
late.
It's such great.
He's gonna be back in practice. He likely doesn't see anything this year with Teddy as the backup there, but he's back, so that's good.
Yep,
I
agree.
can see the Lions signing Goff to like a short term deal. It's not going to be. It'd be like a 2 to 3 year type deal for him.
He's your new Cousins, bro. Just admit it. You're gonna be with Goff because
I won't be surprised if it was Goff.
they wasted their best potential to get, a top flight quarterback with the multiple picks this year, and they let that ride.
They did.
And I'm not saying they can't with Goff, because Goff is definitely a part of that, the group of quarterbacks that can win with really good pieces around him, because he's proven that. But God, did you imagine if they had Stroud? Imagine they would have, used pick 6, and then I think they had pick 17 and moved up or tried to move up.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted him. I mean, deep down, not, but that's what I thought they should have done. But it's a lot easier to say. It's a lot easier to say with Stroud, but I've always been on that train.
Goff's fine.
The 64 listeners should know that.
Goff is fine.
Oh, no touchdown. First and goal at the 1.
At the 1. 7 seconds left of the half.
Y'all want to
Get ready
do
for Zach Charbonnet touchdown.
Y'all want to do a review, or do you want to go talk some etiquette beforehand, and then keep a couple things afterwards?
We can do a review now. I'm almost out, so
got about that much.
I mean, Ryan's got a 2-second review, so
okay, let's do a review,
I'm
and then we'll get to the second part of the show. That's what we do here. We have production meetings on air and talk over drops. I'll start. So I was drinking Victory's Merry Monkey. It's a Belgian style tripel with cranberry, orange peel, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Definitely get. There's alcohol really that jumps out of the glass with it being 10%, which it's not harsh or anything like that, but that just kind of perception comes out. Behind that, definitely get a little bit of the spice, the cinnamon and the nutmeg. It's full bodied, like any good Belgian. The yeast character is definitely up front. With it's not harsh, it's not hot or anything like that. Being at 10%, there is an impression of bitterness that the alcohol does leave. A little bit warming, but overall, good yeast character to it. A little bit of that, banana and some clove spice. So cinnamon and nutmeg blend in with that. I don't really get the fruity notes of the cranberry and the orange peel. If anything, I think they're there providing balance to some of the spicier notes more so than they are at the forefront. Finish on this one really, really lingers. It's definitely full. Leaves kind of a full feeling in your mouth. But yeah, for a 10%er, it's easy to drink. Solid beer. It's not knock your socks off, but it's pretty solid. It's drinkable. There you go.
Touchdown Metcalf.
Touchdown Seahawks.
It was
Of course.
another fucking flight. Jesus Christ. They did not want
Defensive offsides this time.
Thank God. The whole anyways, all right. So I am I'm on the beer too, but I'm drinking Lakes and Legends 5 Czech, which is your Czech Pilsner. So for those of you that may not know, Czech Pilsners are just like most Pilsners are, or all Pilsners can be light, dry, very, very crisp and clean. When you drink Czech Pilsners, doing a little bit of research into the style more so. You get your profile of spices, medium, light to medium malt characteristics, a little more malt forward, compared to the other European style Pilsners, to those counterparts. And that is just kind of how this drink's already. You get a bit of the spices in there, you get a little bit of a hot profile, which what helps make a Pilsner. That's one of the main, big things is what separates, drinking a Pilsner than let's say like an American lager or something like that. So it's very, very simple, very, very, very easy drinking. And if you come across this type of style, the most well-known one is the Pilsner Qual. I would recommend picking that up, especially if you like
Pilsner Urquell.
You like drinking lagers. Yeah.
Pilsner Urquell.
Especially if you
Urquell's
like your if you like your light drinking bodies, these are really good.
Ryan
is revert back to 5:30.
Yep, revert back to 5:30 if you really want to hear my beer review. But I had Shorts brewing Hoompa Loompa-licious. It's an Imperial IPA. Comes at 7.7%. Very good. And Chris nailed it right on the fucking head. So go back to 5:30, hear that. Or if you remember
Man,
that,
I'm like,
that's exactly
like Nostradamus over here. It's like
IPAs are
it's like
you went to beer school.
It's like
IPAs to beer school or something.
It's like IPAs are predictably boring most of the time.
Hey, look at me. I'm pretty boring.
You like what you like. I'll give you that.
I do.
All right. Let's move on. So it's that time of year where you are in one of three phases. You either know you have no chance at the playoffs in your redraft leagues. You are fairly confident that you're going to make it or maybe even clinched. Or you're on the cusp and you're fighting for one of the last couple seeds. We're in week 13 officially as of today. Week 14 for most of you will be the last week of the regular season. If not, then you better either have a 2-week playoff. Please do not start them when there's still bye weeks. This is the time that I want to talk etiquette, though, because you start to see a lot of hokey shit happening this time of year, and this is where you're really going to watch for collusion. One of the things you can do to combat this is have an earlier trade deadline in redraft. It's why most trade deadlines and redraft are before right now. But if they're not, or you usually don't see the collusion of this level in Dynasty, but if they're not, what are some of your big don't do's? I'm talking a lot. What are some of your big don't do's if you're a team that's eliminated on the outside looking in? How should they be handling themselves knowing that this isn't?
Just set your lineup. You don't
Or
have to
You're talking redraft style, right?
redraft only. Yeah,
Redraft only.
Okay.
just with no. All right, so let's make a caveat. There's no punishments, in your leagues for finishing last. There's no set styles for keepers or something like that, or however. So straight up redraft. Loser, nothing happens to the loser. There's no you win money, in the consolation bracket or nothing. Just say your lineup and don't trade. And I won't even pick up any big names. If for me personally, I am just set my lineups. If I have to pick up a player, I will, and that's only based off of injuries or buys, because we still have one more week of buys after this. As Hopper told me, that's it. That's exactly that's what I would do. That's what I would advise people to do. Don't try to be the guy that takes the best waiver ad. I know some people will, and we can get in arguments of when you two think the same, but I just want to have fun, watch whoever wins it, and not be the guy who's making trades, for no apparent reason.
Exactly. And for a standard redraft league, it's like the way I played in a couple of leagues where it's like if you're in the playoffs, you get waivers. After that, it's wide open. So if you're not a playoff team, you need to fill your roster up. You grab those players, fill up your roster, but
yeah,
the main waivers are for the playoff teams only.
Yeah, that's how I've always played it, even if there's not a rule around it. It's that if I'm out, I'm not gonna play waivers because I'm not playing for anything. Now it's different if there's punishments, but if you're in a position where you're not playing for anything, then sit back and let the people that are have that chance. You can compete at the end. And this is not something that I feel like strongly about, where if you play waivers and are going to compete until the end, I don't think you're necessarily super wrong there, but it's kind of courteous.
You are not.
It's a courteous thing to just kind of let them.
It's not like making a trade.
It's fun to play spoiler though. Like if that team you're playing is like as of right now the 6th seed, and if they lose, then you got 2 other teams that could be in. Yes. That's where I see it's competitive. It's like no, you can play because even you're out, but you also that's another way to look at it too. Is
you can spoil it for somebody else.
I have no issue.
That makes for fun rivalries too.
Yeah, so it's like if you want to do that, absolutely. Just the one thing you should not do is just make trades.
Yeah,
you're done for the year. Sorry.
Don't make trades. Don't trade your team and your good players to your buddy.
Don't drop your players. Don't drop your players.
Don't drop your players for other people to pick up because they're good or whatever. That's when you start to traverse over into collusion, right? Is when you're dropping players for other people to pick up. You're making trades to send people around.
Something for nothing.
For cents on the dollar, something for nothing. Trading your whole team to a buddy and emerge one super team, which we've seen a couple times. That's not how you. Doesn't keep it fair. The job's to keep the league competitive and fair. And again, that's why trade deadlines and redraft exist, and they should exist before people are really in a position where they're eliminated or not eliminated. You probably around week 11 or 12, for the most part, they should exist to prevent that. That's why you have trade deadline. But that's past. So, the other caveat there is to the commissioner, you got to be on the lookout for it. You got to have a process for catching collusion and keeping things fair.
Yep, and also trust in the other league mates that can help you. Point it out. It's not, in Dynasty, you're going to see, you're going to start seeing teams that are not, being competitive to try to, I won't say sneak bad players in, but guys that are are clearly not playing their best players.
Yeah,
And
in Dynasty,
it's not meant to.
that
It's
pisses
not
me
even
off.
meant. Yeah, and it's not meant to be malicious.
There's a right way to tank, and
Yes,
there's like our listener league, right? I'm scoring 40 points a week, and it's not because I'm not starting my best lineup. It's because I traded literally anybody that was good, and it's a deep league. And we had this situation last week where I was playing another team that was fully tanking, and they, didn't start their most efficient lineup. But you could tell looking at their lineup, there was nothing malicious there. They were making a best effort to start their best lineup, even though they knew they were going to get their ass kicked. That's the appropriate way to tank. You should always make the effort to start your best lineup, even in Dynasty, if you're going for a better draft pick. Now, that being said, I don't know how you guys feel about this, particularly this week where there's 6 teams on bye. I do not believe that you should have to drop anybody in Dynasty ever to fill out a starting lineup.
1000% agree.
If you have to play nobody or play somebody on a bye because you can't fill out a starting lineup, there are leagues where my whole bench is on bye and can't do anything about it. If you're making the best effort to set a lineup, that's fine. You are not in Dynasty required to should not be required to make roster changes to fill out a lineup. You should make the best effort with what you have on your roster, not be required to fill it to make roster changes.
Especially like big leagues like that, where it's like, all right, what are you gonna do? You go from 0 points to maybe 0.1, 0.2 points. Well, you're not gonna get it. You're not. There's no difference in a bye week player compared to a player.
I got another league that's got a ton of people on bye that actually has players available on the waiver that I'm like, well, and I'm not tanking either. I'm actually firmly in playoff contention, and it's kind of like, well, I'm going to try, but there's only
this is a rough
one
week for
turn
buys.
spot, so yeah.
This
is a very rough week for buys.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't and I will admit, I am the team that likes to still yield a full complete lineup. Most times in most dynasty leagues, if the roster size is big enough, there's
turn spots.
There's always turn spots. And I will never tell a team to do this. If I know that you're trying to set a proper lineup, then great. If you have a backup quarterback that probably won't play, not in, though, I'll be like, you should have played him. Because, again, you're trying to be respectful to the rest of the league, because you would want the same if you were.
Anything can happen on any week, right? So maybe they do end up playing. So, at least put the backup in instead of the bye week player.
Yeah. But I've gone on my way to drop players and add, this is generally in one QB leagues is almost always the QB spot to know that this happens in. Maybe the tight end spot with no premiums, but
kickers.
Or kickers, yep. Or defenses even. I always at least try to, but that's just me. I also don't, play in massively, huge, buy-in dynasty leagues, and not all my leagues are mainly for competitiveness and to be, a shit talker. So they're small stakes, low stakes, and they're there, to have fun with my friends, and that's pretty much about it.
Yep. All right. Anything else on etiquette? Obviously, if you're on the bubble, then keep competing if you've clinched.
Yeah. Yes.
The only thing I'd say to teams that have clinched, I've heard some rumblings about this, is because you're clinched, you're still playing for seeding, you're still playing for buys at this point. But even if you're clinched in to a bye week or to seeding or whatever, don't sandbag it so that your buddy who's on the bubble can get in.
That's probably where the worst of it really comes in my opinion.
There is some of that happens too, and that's just as shitty of a move is colluding on trades or anything like that. You have an obligation to start your best lineup regardless of what position you're in. Don't sandbag it so your buddy can beat.
Yeah.
Or to keep somebody else out and sabotage because you're setting your lineup to keep somebody else, out by letting another team win.
Yep.
That's me. I like to sabotage to keep people out, but I do it on purpose so that way I try to win.
That's fine.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
But you should be trying to field your best lineup regardless. All right, cool. 50 minutes. You want to make coaching vacancy predictions, or do you want to skip that and save it for the off season before Black Monday?
We're saving that for Black Monday.
All right. After said 7 to 10, was going to try to predict them today, but we can save it for Black Monday. All right, bye-pocalypse. I do want to talk about this. I want to talk about some guys that may be available or may be startable. We don't do this a whole lot anymore with waivers or with start sits or anything like that, but because this is tied for the most teams on bye and it's a rough week, I think it's prudent for us to do a little bit about this. I'm sure you got an article somewhere.
That's what I say. I read the weekly waiver wire article over at FFA stuff. So
FFA stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough week. It sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
I didn't like this week. I thought I was gonna love it with Kyler Murray, but you know what? I said YOLO. Fuck it. It doesn't matter if I win or lose. I'm in.
Ravens, Bills, Bears, Raiders, Vikings, Giants, all on bye. So looking through this, we'll just kind of give some hits here. So you're without Lamar Jackson. You're without Justin Fields. You're without Josh Allen this week. You don't have a Tommy DeVito who's been playing better as of late to plug in. So what are we looking at?
That's his mom's cooking.
Well, yeah, it was mom's chicken cutlets. So, quarterback wise, some guys that could go with a lower rostered percentage. Sam Howell's listed at 77%. He's got Miami this week in what should be a high scoring game with a lot of passing. He's shown an ability as the season's worn on to put up some nice size points, so I'll give him that one. The other one that I want to look at here, at least from where I stand at, Kenny Pickett in Arizona.
There we go.
That was mine, yeah.
Now the mine also, I was like, don't say Kenny Pickett. Don't say Kenny Pickett.
There's not a lot of great options. That's him and my other guy I'm fine with the most.
Who's your other guy?
Minshew.
Yeah. Minshew and Levis were the other two I was going to throw out.
Yeah.
In that game. Again, you don't have a lot of options right now, so couple quarterbacks that can go out there and hopefully get you something. Derek Carr also against Detroit is only 29% rostered, so.
Yeah, it depends what site you're on too. Some sites, like I think it's CBS, because I did my base on CBS. So it's like 71% rostered for
NFL fantasy.
League size and stuff like that too are going to be all different.
Yeah,
those are
obviously
those are the true streamers that are probably going to be in most people's waiver pools.
Yeah,
but I mean, you guys nailed the two. Like you called out Kenny Pickett and Gardner Minshew were the two I have as my waiver pickups for this week.
Yeah. Running backs. So these are hard positions to fill, right? So, couple throwouts here, and I won't steal yours. Why don't you start, Ryan? What was in your article? That way I'm not constantly stealing things.
Like one of my favorite ones which is because sometimes I like to scavenge articles just see what other people are writing to see if because I hate repeating the same thing over and over again. And one I threw in there because I didn't see it, and anyone else's was Samaje P. Ryan.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
The top of my list.
I did that.
Right?
Top, but one of them, yeah.
He said a 7-for-7 game receiving, didn't he?
Exactly. Yeah. Like he's a PPR
against the
back.
Vikings. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is fucking wild to say now because he was not a PPR guy, anywhere near a PPR guy coming out. But
yeah, he's developed into that. That's
outside of last week,
which
was a tough matchup. He's been very good this year in that department.
Indeed. Some other guys, again, these are going to kind of be ugly. Chuba Hubbard only shows at 52% rostered. He should be rostered everywhere, but if he's not, they've got Tampa Bay. It's a tougher matchup, but he is carving himself into a much larger role there over Miles Sanders. So that is an option. And then I think the only other guy, there's two other ones that come up. Ernest Johnson, should be a prospective pickup with Travis Etienne questionable, in Jacksonville, because he was getting work over even Bigsby. So Ernest Johnson is a prospective pickup. I think I already mentioned Antonio Gibson. So, yeah, that's about it. I really don't got anything else fun there.
No, that's
Chase Brown, who we talked about earlier. If he does,
yeah.
if you buy into coach's hype and he does, see more of a 40% share, then that's something. And a lot of what you're picking over at running back is going to be nothing. So,
Yeah, and I got a couple more too. I mean, one is playing right now, which is Rico Dowdle, just because if he should be rostered on everyone's benches if possible. Just because if anything does happen to Pollard, you got an RB1 right there because they're the one that he's plug and play.
it's a good call out for playoff strategy right now, actually, is before you get to the playoffs, get yourself cuffs. It's about the time to roster 2 tight ends, that type of thing.
2 defenses, 2 kickers. Not 2 kickers, but always 2 defenses.
Yeah.
Another running back I like too is Jeff Wilson. And that's just based on Devon Achane, but also Raheem Mostert now that he has an ankle injury.
Mostert's back at practice and looks like he's going to play, but he can, like we saw with Achane, can always end up banged up. So I like it.
And then
you're picking
one last one.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott behind Ramondre Stevenson. He's seeing double-digit touches now between carries and receptions.
Mm-hmm.
So with Zappy coming in the backfield, we could also see Elliott catching more passes out of the backfield.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Indeed.
I'm playing him in a couple leagues because of bye-pocalypse.
All right, wide receiver. Dan, you want to start this one off?
No, Ryan good.
You want me to start it off again?
Let's trade off with each other on this. Who's your first respected pick?
Rashid Rice. If he's available, he definitely shouldn't. I mean, after last week's explosion, I could see him already probably rostered in most leagues now. But if he's available in anyone's league,
you also use Watson in that same vein because Watson's
that's exactly
about
where
70% of the snaps. He's on a massive target getter, but he's got back-to-back touchdowns.
He's a deep threat. Justin Watson's actually somebody I'm having to actively do that with in multiple leagues because he was available. So I'm on Justin Watson as well.
Benefited you last week too with that touchdown.
Yeah. Darius Davis is a guy.
Dontavian Wicks too.
Dontavian Wicks, especially if Reed doesn't play. Jaden Reed, if he does play, who's been solid at the 3 or 4 position. Is a
Josh Palmer if he comes back.
Palmer if he's back.
If he comes back.
I don't think they've even opened his practice one yet, but he's eligible.
Mario Douglas if he's comes back from they never said he was in concussion protocol, but if he comes back.
Yeah. Not really a whole lot else to like.
Jameson Williams is a deep one if available, just because he's on the field more. His stats aren't showing, but he's been actually on the field more, especially as a run blocker. But I'm starting to see him more and more on the field, and his targets haven't been there yet, but he's at least seen 3 targets ever since the Baltimore game where he saw 6 targets and got goose eggs for nothing. So
you went 0 for 6?
Yes.
Boy.
He's definitely that fun,
what a great
boom bust play.
Detroit in first round picks.
Solid.
Thank God they're great with the rest of the rounds because
another one that may be
a bit fine.
Another one that may be available that's coming back after a huge blow up game that he hasn't played since then is Noah Brown.
Especially with Tank Dell hurt right now.
Yeah.
And Schultz. I mean, I expect them both to play, but
they're banged up, so
more things to monitor.
We'll see. Tight end position is a bit of a crapshoot. Obviously, it always is. But you are losing Cole Kmet, Isaiah Likely, Dalton Kincaid, TJ Hawkinson this week. So you're likely looking for something. Cade Otton with Tampa Bay is generally available and has seen his target share rise up to at least the level of back end tight end 1. Jawan Johnson's always seems to be good for a pinch start if you need it. And yeah, I don't know. There's not. Pride might not be playing. Oof.
Gerald Everett,
Gerald
Everett,
Everett.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Tucker Kraft.
it's not pretty.
No, it's ugly week right now.
Yeah.
Real ugly.
You're
Tiger
just
week.
you're just fucking hoping.
You're
Shot in a
always hoping
prayer.
for 60 yards.
Shot in a prayer. Yeah.
You're hoping for 6 points. That's how
You're
bad
just
it
hoping
is.
for like you're just hoping for 6 targets and hopefully that they
Yeah.
catch a few of them. You're
Give me
hoping
6
for
points,
like
please.
There's so many
just
of
give
them
me like
that
5 targets, please.
Johnny Smith, because Arthur Smith hates Kyle Pitts. Like, there's so
God damn it, Gino.
Logan Thomas. Like, there's so much.
And most of those guys are picked up because, especially in redraft, if you want to,
gotta
if you want to be really good, you should be planning ahead, through these bye weeks as they start to come up.
Yeah,
and start holding on to guys with good matchups. Preemptive
Yeah, I gotta
ads and stuff.
I gotta admit, I'm guilty of not looking ahead, but I will.
Oh, I'm playing way too many fucking leagues to do that. I'm just saying, I'm not practicing when I'm preaching.
The first time I picked
suck at it
somebody
too.
up,
Don't
like
worry, I'm
once
with you, Dan.
I look a lot closer when I'm dropping somebody than I do at preemptively picking somebody up. So after the first time I pick somebody up, I may look before I drop them and see like, oh, they've got a pretty good stretch here coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to them. I actually just had to pick up a kicker to cover a bye week, and then looked at the matchups for both kickers as I was running through it, and actually ended up sticking with the guy that I picked up. So, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look before you drop.
Geno Smith rushing touchdown.
Oh,
5 yards.
I am the only league I have him in is the league I'm playing you in, Hopper. I mean, it's Ryan's league, so it should be fine.
Not mine league.
No, not yours. Caps league.
Yeah.
Day you're trying to lose, should win.
I am trying to lose in
Should.
that one. That one's harder
Should.
for me to lose in though, because that's like one of those rebuilding teams that's on the way up. So I accidentally
you were
win
where
some
I
games.
was last year.
Yeah.
You're just trying. You got a lot of picks. You got a lot of good players. Now it's just you just got to pull the trigger, right? It's when do I want to pull the trigger and start moving picks?
And it'll probably
start
be
getting
next,
some good players.
It'll probably be next year.
Yeah.
Get some good players in and then move from there. Right now, I think I've got the 1 and the 2 pick. Yeah. Right now, I've got the top 2 picks in that draft. So
pretty good spot to be in.
And
Not a bad start.
Though there is rumors that Caleb Williams potentially may want to return to 20. May want to return back to USC.
Probably a good thing quarterback isn't my biggest need there then, huh?
Yeah. It's almost like this is probably arguably the deepest wide receiver class we've had in a very
I've got
long
CJ
time.
Stroud. I can trade for a backup.
Yeah.
Because Stroud looks like he's going to be my QB1 of the future. I need running backs, really, more than anything else. So,
and that is just if you're trying to compete, that's the best time to start paying for running backs.
yeah. Because I'm right there. Wide receiver core is fine, but if I've got the top 2 picks, that's going to put me firmly in place to go get another one and be 4 deep. So, good problem to have.
Yep. I agree.
So
you ain't sweating it.
Not there. No. But yeah, that's one of those weird things where I'm like trying to lose, but then next year we'll be trying to go for it and flip that roster and that team around 2 years after I took it over. Pretty good. That actually feels pretty good to take over an orphan that was not in a great spot and turn it around that quick. Anyway, that's the show, I think.
Anyway. Yeah.
That was good.
I'm good with that.
All right, cool. Same time next week. Everyone have a good weekend. Good luck as you play your last 2 regular season weeks. And our last 2 regular season weeks.
We're almost done with the regular season.
Ever.
Oh, this feels so good.
Forever.
Ever.
My stress level will go down.
We're almost done with the regular season forever.
I can start making more and more trivia nights.
All I gotta say is for this weekend is go blue. Beat Iowa.
Iowa.
Fucking Iowa.
Beer.